In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to create this canvas seating chart for your next wedding or event. Hi, I'm Nikki. Welcome back to my channel. I love all things home decor, wedding, and DIY. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful canvas seating chart. When I got married back in 2020, I refused to do any vinyl for little details such as a seating chart or escort cards. I knew that the time and the patience that I had was not going to work in order to create those things with regular vinyl. But the little hack that I have with that is using iron-on vinyl and finding some way to attach it to mostly fabric for things like that. The reason is that iron-on vinyl is significantly easier to weed, and it doesn't take nearly as much time or patience. So when I did my wedding, I did a acrylic sign where I wrote with a oil-based marker, which the quality wasn't as great as it would have been if I used Cricut vinyl. So this is our workaround, so we don't have to have good handwriting, but we can also have the more professional look. So with that, that's why we are adding it to canvas and making it the side. Obviously, you can do really any fabric. You just have to make sure that you can apply heat to it in order for your vinyl to stick to it. I start off the DIY with my spreadsheet for all of the wedding guests who are attending my wedding. Obviously, this is just an example for this video, but these are the people who are actually RSVP'd for my wedding back in 2020. I went ahead and added the names, mostly in alphabetical order by last name, added their table numbers in the next column. I went over to Canva where I made my canvas size in inches of what my final sign dimensions would be. I copied 1/3 of the names into each text box. I used Cerebi font for this text. I added spaces in between the names that had different letters for their last name. Then I added the table numbers next to the names. I've resized everything, making sure the text is all the same size and font. I made changes to my layout to make sure everything looked proportionate for when it was going to be cut out on the Cricut. Then I added my heading using Anatha Signature, I think that's how you say it, a font that I imported to Canva from online. I will try to link it below. I added letters to each section until everything looked good. Once I was done with my design, I imported the design as a PNG with a transparent background, making sure it was the largest size. Then I went back and also downloaded the heading by itself with those same settings. I also recommend downloading your list of names without the heading as well. From there, I imported my 2 files into Cricut Design Space. I sliced off the heading so I had just the list of names to work with. I wanted to try to waste as little amount of vinyl as possible, so I made a rectangle using a shape tool and set the size to the smallest dimensions my Cricut mat would cut, so I could find the most seamless place to have my Cricut cut the names. Then I used the slice tool to remove the section of names from the rest and deleted the duplicates from the slice selections. I did this with both the top and the bottom of the list and had 2 names that wouldn't fit in their spots, so I sliced those as well and added them to the empty spot to be cut with the second half of the names. Then I resized the heading and clicked Make It. From there, I made sure everything looked good and mirrored all 3 of my mats to prepare for the cuts. Then I clicked Continue and used the everyday iron-on material with the more pressure selected and let my Cricut do its thing for all 3 mats. I struggled with weeding for the first mat. This mat actually took me about 45 minutes to weed, and this is why it's so important to have high quality vinyl for this project, especially if you're using fonts like I did in this video. For the first cut, I actually thought I was using Cricut brand vinyl. There wasn't a label on it, so I just assumed when I picked it up that it was Cricut brand, and then quickly realized once I went to weed that it definitely was not. It was some other brand, which made it significantly more difficult. But then my second sheet of names, which was the same color and everything, but was Cricut brand, literally took me 10 minutes to weed, which is well worth the extra money that you would be spending versus the time that you would spend on weeding it. For the base of the sign, I'm using 2 different materials. First, I'm using the canvas, which is just a literal canvas that I bought off Amazon, and I'll have linked below. The second base I use is the actual stand, which is made out of copper pipe that I actually created a couple of summers ago for my wedding. I have a full video on how I created my own acrylic sign that went with that. It's a little bit of a different take on the seating chart. That is where I have all the instructions in detail on how to create that stand. If you want to see that video, it's in the info cards, and that specific part is at about 7 minutes into that video. Based off the measurements of the stand, I cut my canvas to its size, which mine was about 22 by 32. I left the end hemmed, and then I used the sides to be more frayed. After all my vinyl was cut and weeded, I attached the 2 sheets together with some tape and placed them on the canvas, trying to make sure everything was straight using a ruler. I had to fiddle with this quite a few times, but it's well worth the patience to make it perfect. Once everything's where I liked it, I used a Cricut heat guide to determine the settings for my heat press. I went down the row of names, adding pressure with the heat press as it warmed up. I continued until everything looked like it was stuck to the canvas. Do you remember that part where I added those 2 names to the column to be cut out with the rest of the names, and I was supposed to remove them and add them back into the row? I didn't do that, and I realized that here. Obviously, this is for a video, so it's not as important, but definitely make sure that you are checking your work before you make it permanent onto your canvas. After the vinyl was cool to the touch, I removed the transfer tape and all the names looked super great. Like I said before, you can do different things for hanging your canvas. You can hang it from the wall. You can hang it on a stand like I am doing. Because of my specific stand and I glued all of the pipes together, I wasn't able to make a panel of the top part of my canvas, which is what I would have done originally. What you decide to do will determine on what would be the best option for finishing that top edge of your canvas material. So for the sake of the video, I just safety pinned it, which doesn't look horrible if that's an option that you want to do, but I definitely recommend either doing a sewed panel, a glued panel. You could do grommets and then hang it with string or ribbon, things like that. I absolutely love how this turned out. It is so easy compared to regular vinyl where it sticks to itself and everything moves. And I'm excited to show you the reveal. I really hope you guys like this video. I'm trying to appeal to multiple audiences. Everyone has different styles for their wedding day, and I want to do people who have a Cricut and want to use it and don't want to be stressed out about it. And then I want to do videos for people who don't have Cricuts and want to have that professional look as well. And so this is just a lot of fun for me to create, and I'm just so thankful you guys are watching my videos. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe. I'm Nikki. These are all of my social media handles if you want to keep up with my personal life. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.